1991.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Good night. After you fight, you do crow. Okay, he's back.
Showtime! It's a miserable night.
I know, darling.
Uncle Fester, may I have the salt?
What do we say?
Now.
There's lots to learn.
Unhappy, darling?
Oh, yes.
Welcome to another episode of Quantum Recast. We're kind of rounding out our Halloween season.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh. And so, but we're going to keep it light. We've talked about like Ready or Not. We've talked about Friday the 13th.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn. We've kept it pretty rated R. So we're going to do a family episode. With me today is Nick and Ash. Yeah.
Yo.
And so we are taking 1991's The Addams Family.
Correct.
If you clicked on this episode, you saw that we actually have the year 1981 next to it, because that's what we do here, everyone, on Quantum Recast. We take a movie out of its original release year, we throw it in a time machine, and we take it forwards or backwards or diagonal ways through time, and we're just taking this one 10 years back to see what The Addams Family, the 1991 version, the good version, would look like in 1981.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna dissect this movie. We're gonna say what we love about it, maybe what we don't love about it, but then we're gonna give it a fresh new 1981 looking cast, because pretty much the franchise goes from the 60s to the 90s.
Yep.
With pretty minimal,
Not a lot
kind
of
of fell off the map there.
There's a cartoon.
There was a
here and
cartoon.
there.
There was a cartoon.
The cartoon was good. I
DVD,
like the cartoon. Yeah.
So, but for the most part, we want to see what it looked like in that weird time that is the 80s, but still the 70s somehow. So.
True.
And we're rounding out. Hey, we're completing the 80s with this episode.
We are.
This is the last year in the 80s we've never been to.
Which is weird to think about, because you love the 80s.
I love the 80s, but this 81's not the 80s.
You're right.
It's if you watch the show Freaks and Geeks, that's the year they're in. I think it's like 81, 82. Where
you
it's
guys
still
have done-
kind of the 70s.
Yeah.
You've done every year in the 80s then?
Yeah, until now. I mean, now we have.
Oh my God.
If we survive this episode, the 80s will be complete.
Oh my God,
But
no pressure.
That remains to be seen. So let's dive into The Addams Family, 1991, with some useless critic stats. IMDb, the International Movie Database, gives it a 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 67%, and that's the critic score, and the audience gives it a 66%.
Okay.
Like, the critics like this 1% more.
It's a lot.
Metacritic gives it a 69 out of 10. Sorry, 57 out of 10. Out of 100. Sorry, I wrote the thing twice for it's 57 out of 100. Kind of fails on that one. That's a failing grade. 3.7 out of 5 stars on the old Letterboxd. And then Roger Ebert,
The man.
out of 4 stars, gave it 2.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Not a fan. Did not think it was funny. Was
Clearly.
mainly his entire review was just, it was okay.
Yeah.
So it comes off to me that, like, is this just another one of those scenarios where, like, people our age loved it and everyone else is kind of like, eh.
I'm a little shocked to see that it pretty much just gets a D. Like,
Right.
It's pretty much just like, it barely passes high school if this was being graded. Like,
100%.
it like essentially gets by on a 60.
It's a
kinda crazy to
lovable
think.
bad movie, I think.
It's weird because it's very good. And it seems like even like there's been multiple iterations of the Addams Family all the way back to the show, the black and white show from the 60s.
Yeah.
Up until now, it's mainly animated. The animated movies were okay.
Yeah,
the
they're fine.
newest ones.
Yeah,
like
they
the
were.
first one was really good. The second one, not great. But it seems like this is actually the definitive family.
Yes.
Like and it's weird that the movie got kind of low scores, because it just seems like when you say Wednesday Addams, people go Christina Ricci.
right.
You say Gomez Addams, you say
they change it up now.
Raul
but
Julia.
It took them 30 years to find another Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, and they did, and it's Jenna Ortega. And it remains to be seen though if she's going to be as like if she's going to take the real mantle.
True.
Right now, she's just a viral dance.
You're
There's
right.
only
Oh,
one
she's
scene
right.
from the entire show anyone like knows. So
The dance scene, of course.
and so
Ash hasn't seen it.
I've
Spoilers, Cory.
I've only seen the dance. That's all I've seen. I
That's all you
refuse to
need to
watch
really
the
see,
show because I don't like Guzman as Gomez Addams.
That's fair. You know, he tries, but
It doesn't work.
like we're going to talk about. Like, it's hard to find a great Gomez Adams.
Raul
After
Julia.
Raul
Shadow is-
Julia, it's very hard to sort of come back.
Yeah.
And I think originally he's meant to be a very stodgy person. Raul Julia made him. Yeah, I think Raul Julia made him
sexy.
charming and
Made him sexy.
yeah, very
Yes.
sexy.
And that's what I want. I don't want Guzman. I want pure sex.
we love
Not
you,
to
Luis
say that
Guzman.
Guzman isn't sexy in his own way. I'm sure there's a fan base out there that
Sure.
gets down on some.
Yeah.
Oh
Guzman.
yeah, for sure,
But
no doubt.
well, so that the critics, just wrapping it up, the critics, they're okay with it. Just the critics' stats are like, it's a passable, watchable movie.
Sure.
But we know now, 20 years removed, that it's just an incredible movie.
Right.
The Addams Family is so good. With a really solid sequel that we may or may not be talking about in the future.
Probably.
Spoiler alert.
Since we're taking it to 1981, though, we
Yes.
really need to get a feel of 1981 to see if the Addams Family is going to fit well. I mean, we don't care if it does or not, but we might as well just see.
Give it a shot.
So, Ash, give me
Yes.
the top 10 at the box office in 1981. What were people going to see?
Certainly, Cory. It's quite an interesting top 10. So at number 10, we have Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits. Great film if you haven't seen it. Number 9 is The Four Seasons. Number 8, For Your Eyes Only. Number 7 is the classic Chariots of Fire. Number 6 is The Cannonball Run. Number 5 is the very funny Bill Murray and John Candy Stripes. Number 4 is Arthur. Number 3, surprisingly, is On Golden Pond, which is an interesting one. Number 3.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know how that one made it there, but there you go. Number 2, we have the debut of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark at number 2, which is very surprising because the film that beat it in the worldwide box office in 1981 is Superman 2.
Wow.
Not surprising at all, because Superman 2 is the better movie.
Oh,
So-
Hot take.
Superman 2 is better than
Debatable,
Superman
maybe.
1. So,
Tune in on our blogs to find out, is it?
But okay, I think the Addams Family's okay. It fits for no other reason that 1981 is just a completely diverse mixed bag.
It's a
of top
bonkers
10.
year.
It's a bit
That's
crazy, yeah.
wild. It's like I mean, the fact that Terry Gilliam had a top 10 movie ever shocks
The
me.
fact that On Golden Pond is in top 3, Cory.
That makes no sense because it's like weird Terry Gilliam. I'm guessing The Four Seasons is a biopic about the Four Seasons. That's just a shot in the dark. For Your Eyes Only, is that
Bond,
That's
right?
Bond, right?
Yeah.
That just sounds like a Bond movie.
Yeah,
And
James
so-
Bond, yes.
And then it hits a biopic and then a string of comedies, which is where I think Addams Family might fit here.
Mm,
Yeah.
It's got a place
And
in
then
it's
we
got a
have-
place in 1981.
2 big action movies, but right in the middle
There's a spot there.
is in On Golden Effing Pond. That is wild to me. It's just 2 old people.
I know,
Just
but it
hanging out
made
on a pond.
$119 million it grossed worldwide.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
that is
That's a lot of
119
money.
million. That at least $100 million is people who want their money back. So it is wow. Okay, all right. On Golden Pond, I think Addams Family will fit in there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it works.
Has to.
Nick,
Yes.
what were the cinephiles watching? We need to put on our bow ties. We need to put on our tuxedos,
Okay.
our dresses if we so choose, and go hit the red
Let's do it.
carpet and check out the Oscars.
So, for the Oscars, Cory, it took place the year after, in 1982, obviously. But this Oscars for this, we have for supporting actress, Maureen Stapleton in the movie Reds. For supporting actor, we've got John Gleegood for Arthur. Best actress, we have Katharine Hepburn in On Golden
Oh, are you
Pond.
serious?
And
Oh,
best
wow.
actor, we have Henry Fonda for On Golden
No
Pond.
way!
Wow.
Cory, it's a box office smash and an Oscar
$100
winner.
million.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I get Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn are royalty, but man, that is okay. No, that's fine. Go on.
So for Best Picture, nominees, we've got Reds, Raiders of a Lost Ark, Cory,
Mm.
Atlantic City, not the winner on Golden Pond,
Oh, thank God.
Oh, right.
but the actual winner, Chariots of Fire.
Alright.
So, yeah, if you don't know, it's the slow motion song. Exactly.
Yeah, it's
that is
Such
that's
a
pretty
good
much
film.
all it's. Yeah, I've never seen it, but that's all I know for it. Ash, give us the quick Twitter-sized review of Chariots of Fire from your perspective.
Yeah, Ash runs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, it's about running, but it's sort of a side piece. I think the music outlives. It's basically about two British track athletes. One's like a determined Jew, and the other's like a devoted Christian. And they're driven to win the 1924 Olympics, and they sort of wrestle with their inner emotions. And it ends with this amazing scene that outlives the film itself, which is the famous soundtrack. Great film. I think it was very emotional. Different kind of film. Really good.
Yeah.
Deserves the Oscar.
It's definitely one of those scenes in cinema history that has just been done and lampooned to death. Like, I think every cartoon, every comedy has a scene where someone's running in slow motion and they get sideswiped by something or tripped up, and that's what we know it as now.
And it's voted. They had this thing on a magazine, like 10 greatest scenes, not films, scenes, and it came in number 8, I think, as one of the greatest scenes in cinema history, which is crazy to think about. All the greatest scenes there, like Star Wars, Luke, I'm Your Father, and all that. I mean, yeah, it's still ranked in the list number 8. I can't remember what number 1 was though.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe. I need to run first. I think to
got to do a good run. Maybe the double feature with Marathon Man. Maybe.
You'll be running after
Running
the movie
Man
for sure.
Yeah.
See, I love Running Man.
Yeah.
Well, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah. Running Man is my.
You literally run in one scene in that movie.
Yeah, it's mostly not a lot of running. So
running away from the game.
Yeah. All right. So bringing the Addams Family to 1981. How does the movie change? We always try to tackle this question. I really don't know if it changes a ton.
Well, here's my perspective on it real quick. So, like me and Ash talked about in our mini-sode From Dusk Till Dawn, check it out. We went to the early 80s, and the thing that we talked about and discussed was just how this is such a transitional period.
Yeah.
Between the 70s and the 80s. It's not the 80s. They didn't find their groove yet.
Yeah.
They were still going, what's this next decade going to look like? And so this is a very interesting and kind of weird period of cinema. Like, you're getting your Supermans and your Raiders of the Lost Arks and stuff like that, but then you're getting like On Golden Pond and movies and Stripes and comedies are starting to slowly become kind of like these bigger deals in cinema. So what's weird is that just glancing at it very quickly is like there's not a lot of like family oriented filmmaking going on. There's a lot of like teenage type stuff with Superman and Raiders, but it's adult humor and adult comedies and things like that. So I think it does fit. Like you could find a room for this, but I think we've reached the point where, because E.T. came out, was it 82, I believe?
Yeah, early 80s.
So I think they haven't quite understood like how much of a bankable property and demographic family cinema is. And so this is kind of like getting into that. And I think it actually works because this movie does ride that hard line of dark comedy. So I think it will still generally stay the same and people will appreciate it maybe more critically.
Yeah,
because it's not afraid to pull some punches on stuff,
Yeah. It's a weird year because really, like, Chuck Klosterman just wrote a book called The 90s, and in his introduction he talks about how decades really don't start with January 1st of that decade. It's really like they sometimes start earlier, sometimes they start later. Like, obviously he says the 90s don't start till Kurt Cobain dies. Or like, and so like
that's not
and
a bad point.
because he's like really, or it may have been the release of Nevermind, but it's like Nirvana is the start of the 90s.
I would say the start. Yeah, the Nevermind release probably is it.
And then the 80s don't really start till 83. That's when MTV happens. That's when Prince, hair metal, all that stuff, like Thriller comes out. Everything changes in 1983, and so we're being in 1981. We're still like, it's the 80s, but the 70s is still kind of got its stink on it.
Star Wars is a thing still. Like,
it's almost like the Ramones and punk rock were keeping it going for a second.
Yeah. You're finding a balance between like a transitional period, like a dark period in the 70s, and this vibrant decade it's going to become right now. And Addams Family's like somewhat satirical. You've got like slapstick humor in the top 10 at the moment, so it'll easily find its place. And it's an adaptation that was made in the 60s. And Flintstones comes out in the early 90s, and you're getting these kind of sequels leading the box office at the moment. So it's definitely well placed. It's just depending how dark you go or how funny you go. It depends where the balance is in the 81. Whereas 91, you can probably get away with more comedy than darkness, which is what they did.
That's true. Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Well, Cory, So tell us, why did you pick this movie?
I mean, it really did have a lot to do with the fact that I knew, like, as we were making our October schedule, I was like, man, we're going pretty hard in the paint.
As we
It's like
should.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Dust Till
Smith and All Black.
Dawn,
Smith and All
Ready or
Black.
Not. I was like, we should lighten it up a little
Just a
bit.
little. Just a little. Just a hair. Not too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going full Disney Channel lighting it
No.
up, but we're gonna give you a little. We're gonna give you a McDonald's Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Approved 90s movie.
And I was like, let's just liven it up. And this is like, it's weird. We stuck with horror, and I feel like this is more Halloween.
Yes. Yeah.
Is
that's
what
fair.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is more Halloween than a scary film for sure. Yeah.
And so, like, I was like, this is going to be one of our last episodes of the Halloween season. So I was like, let's just go Addams Family. It's fun because the characters are iconic.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's going to be really fun to cast it because every character is its own distinct thing.
Exactly
you have
right.
your Gomez, and how do you want to play Gomez? And you want to do the Sean Austin's father.
Yeah.
Was the
original Gomez.
From the TV show.
And, or do you want to go, the Raul Julia route, and he's this debonair guy,
Suave.
So, yeah,
Very
and then
Dracula-esque. Yeah.
Yes.
and then Morticia's its own thing, Wednesday's its own thing, Pugsley it's his own thing, and so I think it'd be really fun to cast.
Sure.
It's caricatures.
Individual
Yeah.
characters. Yeah.
We get to play with a lot of character actors this episode. I feel
We do.
like.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah.
the tricky part of it. Mm-hmm.
So you just really got to get, I think, creative, and I'm excited to see how you guys got creative because 81's not going to be necessarily the most friendly year.
It's not.
And
Just spoiler alert, it's not.
so-
There's a reason we haven't come here yet.
it's that transitionary period.
We're killing some
So-
stuff here for sure. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, like, I don't have like a really distinct, other than I just love the movie. It came out in 91. I was like 6 going on 7.
Did you watch it in theaters or did you?
I wouldn't have seen it in theaters.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I would have seen it.
Did any of you know about the TV series in the 60s before watching the 90s version, the 90s film?
I did know about it because I was a really weird kid that watched, like, when Nickelodeon went off the air. I still watch Nick at Night. I didn't change the channel. I got down on some Welcome Back Kotter and some Get Smart, and the Addams Family was in that rotation.
Because
By the
you
time
like, because Cory likes Arsenic and Old Lace. I remember you say you love that film, and that's very
I
dark
love
as well.
Arsenic and Old Lace.
And that's kind of the vibe you get with Addams Family.
It's very much the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, very
for sure.
dark comedy kind of thing going on that's
Mhm.
taken like lightheartedly. So yeah, the 60s show was good.
I'm gonna go home and watch We should have done Arsenic and I blew it. We should have done Arsenic
All right.
and Old Lace.
Cary Grant's best film, honestly.
Let's start over. We're taking 10. You guys are gonna recast Arsenic and Old Lace.
Okay, all right.
What year do you take that to? Honestly?
There's no kids. That should be easy.
That helps. That does help.
So, man, Arsenic and Old Lace, that's a good movie. Yeah, it does have the same vibe, and I do. I like the whole dark vibe. I like the family that exists in this dark world, in a very vibrant world. But it's a little sad that we're not in the total pure 80s yet.
Yeah, it's not
it would have
84.
been more of a contrast if we were like an
For sure.
87.
Yeah, it would have been a very different movie at that
Yeah.
point.
So
Yeah. It would have
But,
done a good, like, sort of stereotypical, like, juxtaposition. And the really good thing about the Addams Family, as dark and, like, barbaric as they are, they're actually nice people. They're not evil. Everyone,
No, that's the best
they're
part.
like
is they're-
outcasts.
Yeah,
Everyone just
The
doesn't
movie-
like them because they're different. And it's quite an interesting message there. But they're nice people. They just like random stuff. That seems to be a bit
yes.
crazy.
And
which I
I'm
think
glad
is-
you brought that up because I think sometimes that message gets lost on just
It
the
does.
aesthetic and funness of the movie. Is
Yeah.
that what it is? It's like these are people that like dark stuff, but they're
Yeah.
incredibly nice, loving people.
Yes.
And it's
exactly.
very much challenging that whole, like, I guess, elitist mindset of just because someone's different that, they're bad. And
Yeah.
so I it does have that great message that I don't think gets enough credit.
No,
And
for sure.
so, I will say this. The last thing I'll say, I think one of the ways this movie does change that maybe we missed out is in 81 is the soundtrack is going to drive it.
It's going to drive it.
Yeah. We're in the era of soundtracks in the early
True.
80s.
True.
You're coming off of the Saturday Night like Fever stuff, the Grease stuff, where they're like, oh, music really sells and stuff. But
It's
if you
gonna have
think
an
about it,
album.
heavy metal was just born in the 70s.
True.
And so, like, you could do so much with Black Sabbath and
Yeah.
Kiss and
Yeah.
like those types of bands with
Perfectly
the
toned
Addams
for
Family.
it. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely not getting Vanilla Ice on a boombox in this version.
This is true. This is true. We will
That
not
was good,
get
though.
any Vanilla Ice here. So.
You might get the Sugar Hill Gang. I don't know if they're
Oh,
if
can you
that's
imagine?
on the timeline or not.
Can you imagine the two
Yeah,
clicks
maybe,
at the start of the
probably.
song as well?
So, but yeah, I think what you'd get your Alice Cooper, your Black Sabbath, your Kiss, like
Yeah.
stuff
Ozzy
here.
Osbourne
Okay.
sort of
I'm
vibe.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
no,
do
I think that would be a huge part of the soundtrack. All right, cool.
Well, is it time, Corey?
I think it's time to cast this thing.
Oh god, here we go.
I'm all jazzed for it. Let's go. Let's do this.
1981.
Let loose the lost of the title.
You're the best of friends.
Snake Shock! Captain Chaos! I'm not a fool, Blizzard. Call me Snake.
We're gonna have to catch those thieves red-handed. What color are their hands now?
You have arrived.
All right.
Ash, are you ready?
I think so, but we're going to be burning a lot of stuff down here. But yeah, let's go for it.
It's fun. That's why we dissect the movie first, because then you start second guessing everything you did. You're like, oh no. Well, I chose this movie, and so I'm the director, which means I have sent a cast list to Nick and to Ash and said, give me 1981 actors. Give me a great 1981 Addams Family movie. And they've put their cast list, and we're gonna go role by role, actor by actor, and they're gonna pitch me the actor they've put in these roles. And however, you can't just do whatever you want. We have rules. If time travel movies have taught us anything, you just don't get a time machine consequence free.
That's true.
So we put rules into place. Rule number 1: anyone y'all have chosen for Addams Family 1981 must be alive in 1981.
It's true.
They cannot be dead. They cannot be deceased. We don't use the time machine for such macabre purposes. Rule number 2: anyone you cast must be essentially not in prison or in war. They must be available.
Or pregnant.
Yeah, or pregnant.
Well, it's loose rules
That's
there.
a loose rule. That was a case-by-case basis.
Kaz.
And so, like, if
You
they had
need
the
a
baby in
doctor's note.
January,
Yeah.
like, they can be in the movie. Hollywood forced them to get thin in 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Some director, producer said, all right, smoke these cigarettes and lose that weight.
Yeah.
And so, it's 81, Nick. So, it's harsh times. Rule number 3: anyone you cast in Addams Family 1981 must be active. They must have at least one acting credit on IMDb in 81 or sooner. We can't discover new talent.
Got it.
And then finally, rule number 4: anyone you cast in this 1981 version of the Addams Family will lose all major film credits from that year. We are tyrants, and we don't allow them to be in multiple projects.
True.
They got to devote. They're got to method act this Addams Family movie, and we want them in character
For a year.
and not distract.
Yeah.
So
That's it. Commitment.
And then I, as the director, just in case you two losers mess this up, I get 2 power-ups.
Okay.
It's just clean up. In case y'all any massive mistakes here. My first power-up is I can do the old switcheroo at any point in the casting. I can take any 2 actors that have been chosen and placed on the board, and I can switch them in their respective roles. And then my second power-up, the better power-up, the real power-up, where the real power is I can override. If you guys at any point, I say your choice sucked and your choice sucked, or hey, I like this role too much that I've already got my guy or my lady, I can override you two, tell you to take yours back, and I can put mine in play. But I can only do that once, and I must do it during the actual casting. I can't do that retroactively. It's got to happen right then.
Got it.
So are you guys ready to cast the Addams Family
I think so.
in 1981?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for this.
We are in 1981. We are stepping out of the time machine, and we're like, this looks a lot like the 70s. A lot of Rush music. All right. So we do a 30 seconds or less, which here we only got 3 characters. They're 3 characters that we love, we think are great, but we just don't have enough time to really dive into them, or maybe the characters themselves don't have enough screen time to really just dive deep into. Those 3 characters are Lurch, who is the Frankenstein butler.
Yes.
Played originally by Karel Trikian, I believe. He is obviously in Men in Black as the Acrylian, and he's also in Twin Peaks. He plays the guy in the courtroom, in the jail, that you will see all the time as clickbait in articles that are like, most dangerous criminals of all time.
Yes.
And you see that guy, and you're like, who's that guy? And then you find out it's just some dude from Twin Peaks.
Right.
That guy's not real.
That guy.
So we also have Granny, played by Judith Malina, who in The Secret of My Success and Dog Day Afternoon, great movie. And then Tully Alford, played by just one of the greatest character actors of all time, Dan Hedaya.
It's good.
Of The Usual Suspects, Clueless, and one of my personal faves, First Wives Club. Oh. Also in Cheers, had a recurring role on Cheers.
That's what I know from.
Ray Perlman's husband. He was a deadbeat in that. He's got a lane, and it's usually playing the deadbeat husband.
Nails it.
So,
Got a type.
So I
do love that.
Respect.
I do love that he plays the lawyer here, but also again playing into like the insanity of this movie is that they immediately start sword fighting. I'm just like,
oh yeah,
it just feels natural and it works.
It's so good too.
I love that scene.
It is. And it's weird. His character's very similar. And like at the exact same time as this, we had Casper come out within like the same
general
age
area.
range.
Christina Ricci again.
Yeah. Kids movie, Christina Ricci, but like there's a lawyer character there played by Eric Idle, and I'm always like, this is the exact same character in both movies.
Yeah, Casper in 95. So it's like 4 years later, it's like, we've done this before.
Yeah, but
both are great. Family. Yeah.
Both are great.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna knock this 30 seconds or less out. We love these characters. We just don't have the time, or really the characters all have pretty low screen time anyway. So
fair.
Lurch doesn't even speak. So not a whole lot to do there. All right. So I'm gonna call out the roll. You guys will rapid fire me your picks, and Nick, you'll go first.
Cool.
All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lurch.
Richard Keel from Moonraker and Happy Gilmore fame.
Okay.
I like that. I've gone with the original Lurch because he's actually the same age as the one that's playing there, Ted Cassidy from the 60s series.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I have to go Richard Keel because the original Lurch was dead in 1981.
What?
I believe he died in 1979.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Ash. Oh no.
He died young.
Started off with a killer.
Ash, we're very clear about the rules.
we can't bring it back from the dead.
Rule number one's literally no dead actors.
Right, I'm just going to get one thing straight here. Ted Cassidy I thought was alive.
Was he really?
79? Yeah, he died in 79. Oh my gosh.
You know, he was dead in 81.
2 years. Body's fresh. It's a Halloween movie.
Oh, we could be.
He doesn't have any lines.
We could have been filming in 79.
Yeah. So, all right. Wait, he quit filming in 79, but he was alive.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
No.
He's dead.
I'm making it up to back up my case.
Okay. All right. Granny.
Okay. For Granny, I have Mae Questrell of Christmas Vacation fame, but she's also the voice of Betty Boop and Olive Oyl.
All right. Ash.
This one's definitely alive. This one's Virginia Mayo. You might not know her, but she's in a film called Scared the Hat on Me called The Man Next Door. She plays a very creepy woman in that. And she was also in White Heat. If you've ever seen that. Very interesting thriller film.
White Heat?
Yeah.
Like the James Cagney movie?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. Oh my gosh, 30 seconds or less, but I've seen White
Cory,
Heat.
come on.
I've seen it recently. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Make a pick.
Virginia Mayo.
Okay.
Virginia Mayo. I'm gonna go with it. So, all right. Okay, finally, Tully Alfred. Nick, go.
In one of his last roles, John Belushi.
Oh, I like him.
Wow, that's not bad. Ash,
I have
the
gone.
Belushi is on the board.
Belushi, I like him. All right, well, I've gone slightly younger, but definitely always looks about the same age. I've gone for Henry Winkler, always with Adam Sandler in The Waterboy. He was a principal in Scream. And yeah, he's got that very kind of like hateable look about him.
I'm absolutely going Henry Winkler.
Oh my god!
I want the heel turn out of the Winkler.
Is he still playing Fonzie at this point?
I don't know, but it's great. Oh my gosh! I mean, if he is, he just jumped the shark, literally.
Literally jumped. So it went to 84. So he's in mid. He needs a heel turn here. He needs a heel turn.
He does. He needs to stop hanging out with high schoolers and go be a sleazy lawyer. Oh my gosh, Henry Winkler's going to be so much fun in that. Belushi's good. It's just like kind of like on the note. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see Belushi doing it. I want to just live in the creativity of Henry Winkler.
That's fair.
Playing this very out of. And also, it's Henry Winkler's one of those like actors that's a genuinely good dude.
That's true.
And so like,
and he'll have fun with the sword fight as well. He'll have a fun time with the sword fight.
Yes, it'll be fun.
He would have so much
fun.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Oh, we were off to a good start. This movie doesn't suck.
Speak for yourself. I had someone who's dead 2 years.
Ash tried to break rule number 1, but
he's testing us.
That was a quantum recast first, honestly. Jesus.
I think it was.
So, but okay. So we're gonna move on to our main cast, and I will read the main cast right now. Abigail Craven, which is our main villain, right?
Yes.
Wednesday Addams. Most people, if you don't know, her middle name is Friday. Her whole name is Wednesday Friday Addams.
Interesting.
And so then we have Pugsley Addams as well. So we have the siblings.
Okay.
Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
Morticia Addams and Gomez Addams. So we have the Addams family and the villain, essentially.
Okay. We got the creepy, we got the spooky, all together.
Kooky.
They're all kooky.
Yeah.
And so,
Snap.
Addams
all
Family.
right. So we're going to start off with our villain here,
Okay.
Abigail Craven.
Your brother returns, you feel guilty, you displace.
I do?
The feelings in your brain cells, they bubble and collide. You suspect things. You love him, but you resent him. Love, hate, hate, love. Like for Mama, no?
But I didn't hate my mother. It was an accident.
Who is she just shows up and she gosh, I'm not even sure if I understand her plan.
Her plan is to basically convince the Addams that Uncle Fester is Uncle Fester because he's the son.
Yeah.
She's convinced him that he's her son, and they're going to steal the Addams family fortune using the lawyer.
Yeah.
And it's all like the shoe-in of like, as long as we can convince them, he'll know the secret of where the fortune's hiding at, and then they steal the money.
Because here's the thing.
She wants money. She wants money. That's it.
She wants money.
Because here's the thing. I never know if the movie really reveals, like, is Uncle Fester a fake relative who just enters the family? Or did she find an actual long-lost Addams and use him to get access?
So I had the same thought. And yesterday, I'm glad I rewatched it because it does reveal that it is him.
How so?
Because it's a slow burn. Because, obviously, like, it's set up where it's like, no, he's not. He's a fake. He's an imposter. And the entire time it's him pretending, and the kids kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But then him bonding with the family, like, reawakens his Uncle Festerness. And you can kind of see it in his performance. I know we're talking about.
No, he does well.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
But by the end, she kind of, it's not like, it's not really said out loud, but it is kind of said out loud because she says the line, like, I should have left you where I found you.
Okay.
And then,
so she sought out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also at the end of the movie, Granny tells him, like, and he and Granny have a conversation where he's like, yeah, all my memories came back. And she's like, yeah, a struck of lightning is all it took when he opened the book with the storm.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
okay.
Because I had that same thought too. I was like, is he actually?
Well, I've always had that thought where I'm like,
it's up for discussion still. So they haven't outright said this is Uncle Fester. It still could be the
there's some leeway there, but it kind of is spelt out, but it's kind of not. So they have fun with it. I think.
I mean, it's fun. It's interesting because honestly, the Addams Family, they changed the actual relations from cartoon to show to movie. Are in the original comic, I guess, by Charles Addams.
Yes.
He's actually Granny's brother.
Okay.
And Granny's actually Morticia's mom.
So
but in the movie, she's Gomez's mom.
Yes.
And so Uncle Fester should be
Morticia's brother.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like weird. They change it a lot. And so in the movie, Granny's actually Morticia's mom and Uncle Fester is Gomez's brother.
Okay.
That's right.
So,
but they changed it.
It's wild. I feel like this should be the canonical version. Like it's just this one's canon. Not to crap on Charles Addams, the creator.
Yes.
Charles, you did good. We just the movie did it better. So.
He made the drawings.
And I should say Abigail Craven is played by Elizabeth Wilson, very famous for The Graduate, 9 to 5, and Quiz Show. 9 to 5 is such a great movie. It's wild that I'm concentrating on 9 to 5 out of Quiz Show and The Graduate, but
Quiz Show,
so good. All right. So Ash, I'll let you go first.
Oh God.
Here.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so a nice character, one outside of the family. I went for someone who is going to have a gimmick for this movie. This movie's got a bit of satirical nature to it, so I thought, let me bring in a pop culture reference in 1981. So I have brought the very definition of Scream Queen into this role.
Oh.
And she was just in a film where she looks very old as well, even though she's only 44. But if you put a bit of makeup on her, which they had in 1981, you'll definitely make her look a lot older. She was in The Fog the year before of John Carpenter with her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis. I give you Psycho's Janet Leigh. And I think, I wanted someone iconic in a horror movie to play someone who is going against type in a film that's as satirical as The Addams Family. I just like the idea of her naggy, because she's very naggy in The Fog. And
she is.
She looks quite old in that movie for someone who was 43 at the time. So I think she can definitely have the appearance of a mother. And I just like the fact that she is, Psycho. She is the, Marion Crane. And I think that's sort of a cool, pop culture reference I think I wanted to add to the Addams Family in 1981. But yeah, I'll bring you Janet Leigh.
Nobody alive whose peak years were the 60s and 70s came out looking young.
No. No,
That's
A lot
true.
of hard drugs.
It's a lot of hard drugs, a lot of stress. Yeah.
Smoking was healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, nobody came out looking great. So, all right, okay, I like it. I don't hate it. Nick, Janet Leigh, the original Scream Queen,
Yes.
is on the board.
Okay. I'm going to go slightly different way, but I'm bringing you, she's TV's beloved grandmother from Murder, She Wrote, Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast, and in back of the day, Manchurian Candidate. I'm bringing you Angela Lansbury, Cory.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Now, previously on this podcast, there had been a conversation where I was on the opposite side of this, where I was like, she can't play a villain role. And then I saw clips of her in Sweeney Todd, the musical, and I went, oh, okay, I was wrong.
Nah, she
All right.
did. She
Okay,
played Mrs.
That's
Lovett
fair. That's fair.
in the music.
So I want that energy a little bit. I want some heel turn Angela Lansbury, some meat pies making Angela Lansbury thrown in here. And I think she'll just have a lot of fun really chewing up scenery with her musical Broadway sensibilities.
Are you telling me we've heel turned Angela Lansbury on this podcast before?
We have.
Do you remember what it was for?
I don't.
Oh, okay. You just know you lost.
I just know I lost.
Okay.
And I've learned a lesson, Cory.
That's fair.
Maybe we should go down that route again.
That's okay. Here's my thing. I'm like, I want to heel turn Angela Lansbury, but I'm like, we've done this before. I don't want to be redundant.
Exactly.
So the keep thinking about it, Cory. Keep thinking about it.
Oh my gosh! It's royalty versus royalty
It
here.
looks like she may not have won.
Oh, so you convinced me not to heel turn Lansbury.
I guess so.
You go, Nick.
Okay.
I was very impressive with my.
Oh, she's so nice, though. She's too nice. I love her.
Exactly.
Okay, here's how I'll make this decision.
Can she do a Russian accent?
Probably.
Either.
Oh, I was like, I don't know.
Now we can
on
find out.
either. It's gonna come down to who I think will be more fun with Henry Winkler.
Okay.
And it's gonna be Lansbury.
No.
We're gonna get the double heel turn.
Can I just say,
Lansbury and Winkler.
my last point on this matter, can you just not imagine her screaming and being captivated by her just screaming like she was in the shower at the end of the movie?
True. Janet Leigh would be
Janet
fun.
Leigh, yeah, I get it, and it's great. It was a great pick. It wasn't a trash pick like Paul Gleason for Iron Man. So like
Who picked
it was a great pick, but it was Angela Lansbury and Henry Winkler as the dual villains here. It's my cup of tea.
Okay,
It's 100% my cup of tea. I love it.
That's fair.
And I do think that Angela Lansbury plays like she's very bitchy in Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
She is.
So
She's
I'm
kind of bitchy in
feel
that.
like, I'm like, she's really mean to these children.
Yeah.
So
She does have that face, but she's always nice sometimes. Like in
She
Mr.
is.
Papa
She's
Penguin.
generally nice. Yeah.
all right, let's move on. Let's hop on to Pugsley Addams.
Okay.
But if he's not Uncle Fester, then who is he? Somebody else. It has to warm up. Why? So it can kill you. I knew that.
The lesser known of the Addams children, kind of the where's the black and white sweater? Played by Jimmy Workman. And Nick, you've brought up other work he's done, which I would have been shocked that if you told me he did other work.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the sequel. He was in As Good as It Gets. He was in Star Trek in 2009. That's wild.
Basically,
Okay.
he's a technical staff guy now. He switched over to the behind the camera.
He said, I want to be on the other side.
Yes.
He's like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Everybody, okay, I get it. Pugsley Addams is just as much of a as wild and macabre for the Addams Family, but he kind of is the punching bag for Wednesday.
That was going to be the word I would use. Punching bag.
It's mainly he's like there for Wednesday to experiment.
He's a pincushion for her.
Yeah,
But
a very willing one, I think.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
so that's like his thing. He's
he's sitting
a
in the
sub.
electric chair, not even once questioning it.
No.
And then Mom and Morticia comes up and she's like, and they're like, oh, please.
Wednesday's a dom, Pugsley's a sub, but with no incestual undertones.
Cory, it's the internet. You've unlocked it.
Oh gosh.
It's just they develop their kinks early. And so woo. All right. But yeah, Pugsley, there's not a whole lot to say other than that's his whole thing. Is he's just very much the very fun little brother that lets the I guess I don't know who's younger or older.
They don't really define
It's
it.
almost
do they?
like the Griswold
don't know.
children.
Yeah.
It changes from movie to movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ash,
they're
do-
meant to be twins, actually.
Okay, they're meant to be twins.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All
Charles
right.
Addams never even gave them names. Only until the series came out did they add the names. So Charles Addams only just did the drawings. So the Wednesday and Gomez and Morticia was made up by a producer in the 60s.
Sounds to me like Charles Addams really phoned this in.
They are not twins. Wednesday is the elder sister of. That's what the internet says. So.
All right. Okay. I guess we'll see if that stays.
Okay.
We'll see if that stays because casting children on this podcast is a menace.
Yes.
And rarely do we ever nail ages down. So it could change. Subject to change. All right. Nick, you made it.
I did.
You made the Angela Lansbury shot. So who is your Pugsley Addams?
Cory, you're going to get excited, so get excited.
Ooh.
But I'm bringing you, your boy, one of the two C's, a Cory Feldman. That's right. People know him from Stand By Me, The Lost Boys, The Goonies, and The Burbs, for those of you deep divers.
I love The Burbs.
But I think he's going to be a little different flavor here. He's going to be a younger Cory Feldman. But I did really enjoy like the fact that they were like kids, like pure kids, not teenagers, not preteens. Like I enjoyed that energy that they brought to the movie, and that because I was tempted to go older and pull some people, but I was like, no, it's more fun when they're like actual kids. So I think Cory, he's right in this era where he's about to pop into the Friday the 13th franchise, which we talked about. So I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to also throw him in here as well. He's not afraid of the weird type of movies.
Cory Feldman's, he's like the opposite of wine. The younger you go with Cory, the better.
Okay.
It's kind of that's kind of how Feldman's career goes.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that metaphor.
The younger and further you go back with Feldman, the better. He was a phenomenal kid actor. Like he's great.
And now he's a Michael Jackson impersonator, basically.
Now he's the comeback king. So,
sure, we'll go.
I mean, sure. I mean, we're talking about him.
Yeah,
you're right. So yeah, sure. Okay. Feldman's on the board. Ash, who are you countering with?
I mean, the word counter is very funny here because I'm going completely opposite of Nick's choice. I like Cory Feldman. I'm changing this entire setup of Addams Family. I mean, I'm doing some things that I'm going to get like chastised for here. I wanted someone a bit older. I like the teenage aspect of it, actually. I kind of want to see what they can do. So he's going to be 16 years old at the time. Same age as my Wednesday to come to it as well. I just like the fact with Tim Burton's Wednesday that you get to see more of a development. But anyway, Pugsley, like you said, is sort of the least developed person there. He's probably the least favourite, the one of the least personality. Everyone else has got a bit of a flair about them, and Pugsley is sort of the punching bag. So I wanted to introduce Pugsley with a bit of bravado, with a bit of strength. So I've casted someone who could probably do that. And I've casted someone that is basically a male Wednesday Addams. So I've gone a bit that way. So I give you a free agent at the time, and thanks to his father, he's been in a few films prior to this year, a Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, pulling out the big guns.
And you said
he's 16 years old at this time.
15?
He's only done 2 films before. But if you look at him at 16 years old, he is a perfect fit for an Addams Family. You just have to look at him, the black hair, the gothic eyes. And I want him to go against type with Pugsley. I want him to bring Pugsley into the realms of how popular Wednesday is. So I want to reinvent this role because Pugsley never really gets any attention or popularity. I think it's all given to Wednesday, and I kind of want it to be shared between the two. So yeah, I've gone a bit weird with this one and gone Robbie Downey Jr. So RDJ is on the table.
Okay, so Robert Downey Jr., also the younger you go, the more doughy his face is, and so it kind of works.
I can see that, yeah, literally here. Yeah.
Especially, like, I also just recently rewatched the most depressing of the Brat Mac films, which is Less Than Zero.
Yes.
Because it's just about him being addicted to drugs and essentially being forced into gay prostitution to feed his habit.
Yikes.
But in half the movie, he's got, like, the makeup under the eyes to blacken his eyes, and it would work.
Okay.
It would work.
Yeah,
I got you.
Take 4 years off of that, or no, actually 6 years off of Less Than Zero. Keep the like really drugged out look, which in '87 it wasn't a look. He was really doing drugs. But in '81 probably not. Hopefully not. Okay, so it's between a child Feldman,
yes,
who's like what 8?
Yeah,
8-ish?
8 or 9ish. Yeah.
Or a teenage Pugsley, and I'm assuming. I'm not really sure how I get to like necessarily what questions I'm allowed to ask, but I'm assuming y'all stuck with the ages for your Wednesday.
Well, both the actors who played Wednesday, Christina Ricci and Jimmy Workman, they were both 11 years old at the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Nick, you're gonna be mad, but I'm gonna go Robert Downey Jr. here.
Oh, yes.
I want a teenage Pugsley.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly.
I want a teenage Pugsley because I'm interested to see if y'all brought a younger Wednesday, because I don't know that I would hate the dynamic of little sister with the
bossing
punching
around the
bag
older brother.
big brother.
Interesting.
It's an interesting dynamic. Okay.
I'm not sure. Okay, but I mean, I guess it depends on who you brought
it's
for
your
Wednesday.
pick, so
all right.
Chess piece is off the board, so that's what we've got.
Okay, yeah, I took my hand off. Yeah, we're going to see it. All right, let's move on to Wednesday Addams.
Is this made from real lemons? Yes. I only like all natural foods and beverages, organically grown, with no preservatives. I'll buy a cup if you buy a box of my delicious Girl Scout cookies. Do we have a deal? Are they made from real Girl Scouts?
All right, let's just, I need, this is a pairing, and so we need to just hop into this. Wednesday Addams, very famously right now being portrayed by Jenna Ortega, but in 1991, she was played by, oh my gosh, Christina Ricci. Like, she is like she's just the poster child for Hot Topic. Yeah. It's like, I think whoever created Hot Topic just looked at Christina Ricci and said, people want to dress like that. It's like Winona Ryder.
If we can make a style built around this aesthetic, this dark gothic aesthetic.
It was the second coming of Winona Ryder. It's like Burton ditched Ryder for Christina Ricci.
I know, it only worked with her once.
Helena Bonham Carter's just the older one.
True.
Oh my gosh, it's like the trifecta there. Oh my gosh, we need
a type.
We need a witch movie based around these three people, and just keep Jenna Ortega out of it. I'm a little sick.
Witches of Eastwick remake.
So, yeah,
keep Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Christina Ricci. Obviously, we've discussed it. Casper 1995. She's in Speed Racer 2008. She's in Sleepy Hollow 1999. She's right now killing it on Yellow Jackets. A TV show, and I think she's in the Wednesday show, isn't she?
Yes. Yeah, she has a role.
Plays an ironic role in it. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we have Robert Downey Jr. I need a Wednesday Addams. Ash, you made it. Give me your Wednesday.
Yes. So this is someone else who I think everyone will know now, who had a very good career leading up to present day. Francis Ford Coppola called her his favorite actress.
I agree.
And the reason I've picked this actress is because I saw a picture of her when she was 16 and she's got pigtails and all you have to do is dye her hair black and she looks the part and she's got a bit of sass to her. You may know her from Justice League as Superman's mum, or Robin Williams' mum in Jack, or Unfaithful. I'm giving you a 16-year-old who was used to married to Josh Brolin, Diane Lane.
Dang.
She is beautiful, a very, very gorgeous woman. But in 1981, she was 16 years old, and there is a film, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's called Child Bride of Short Creek, and she looks exactly like Wednesday. And that's the reason I picked her.
She does.
Very cool.
Pigtails. And she's got that sass as well. She's got that sass, arms folded kind of thing. I can see her doing that.
Corey, I know what I know what you're thinking, and I just want to let you know it's okay. Streets of Fire isn't until 1984.
I was about to say, I'm like, where is Streets of Fire falling on this timeline?
Fans of Streets of Fire. Okay.
Yeah, you named a lot of stuff she's known for, but we know her from Streets of Fire.
Yeah, this year she's just in a TV movie called Child Bride of Short Creek.
Bride of Short Creek, that's right. Yeah, TV, some random movie. So she's almost a free agent besides that TV movie. But I always grew up watching her from Jack, that Robin Williams film, and she was the mum.
Yeah,
that random film with Jennifer Lopez as well.
Okay, all right. It works. Yeah. If I want two teenage children, it works. But Nick, give me your Wednesday.
Okay, Corey.
Sell me.
So I messaged you earlier this week because I was bemoaning the difficulty of finding, in my definition, a child actress.
Oh, you were trying to get me to change rules on this podcast.
Listen, I went down the list. I went through the list. I was sitting there going like, I can't find anybody for this age range because I was playing into that same range, 10 and down a little bit. But like Winona Ryder, Helena Bonham Carter, Carla Gugino, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, none of them have a credit in the early 80s. They don't get started till like a year or two later even. So I'm just sitting there going through, I've run out of names and I'm just hunting. So I finally found, you know her from Natural Born Killers, From Dusk Till Dawn, in the 80s, Christmas Vacation. I'm giving you an 8-year-old Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis was acting.
She was. She has a credit. Which I found.
8 years old.
As a very young age, she had a credit. In 81, she's in 80. She's doing Bronco Billy. Home Fire is a TV movie, and she doesn't have a credit in 81, but in 80 she has credits.
Is that her first credit?
I'm sorry, but I think that she just in 1980 it's Bronco Billy is her first credit. And that's pretty much it until 87. But it counts.
It does count.
Uncredited child spectator.
Yes,
I mean,
it still counts. It's an IMDb credit, Corey. counts. This is how much I had to dig. I didn't go teenager, and that was probably my mistake. But
I'm staying out of the technicalities of the rules.
Okay,
but
here's the thing. Again, I just watched Less Than Zero.
Okay.
And the best scene in that entire movie is towards the end where Robert Downey Jr. interacts with an 8-year-old girl. And he's just being really sweet. He's at the end of his rope. He knows he needs to get off drugs or it's going to kill him. And he pretty much knows he's going to die. And it's the most touching scene in the whole movie. I'm going Juliette Lewis.
Yes!
The dynamic of an 8-year-old Juliette Lewis strapping a 15, 16-year-old Robert Downey Jr. into an electric chair and all that. It works so much better.
It's so
Ash is so upset.
This role she was in 1980. I mean, uncredited
by a
child
technicality, yes.
By a
technicality.
It counts. We define it as at least one acting credit.
Ash, you don't know how long I spent hunting for an actress.
I love it.
I'm getting a feeling of how it was a long
this.
search.
I love this. I did not know Less Than Zero was going to play so much here.
It
I'm
did.
glad I watched it this
I
week.
mean, I like Juliette Lewis. I like Juliette.
All right. Okay, so we're in our top 3 here.
Sweet.
And I'm actually tempted to go a little bit out of order here.
Okay.
I actually want to skip up to Morticia Addams.
An open grave. It was my first funeral.
You were so beautiful, pale and mysterious. No one even looked at the corpse.
Your cousin Balthazar. You were still a suspect. I couldn't stop staring at you all through the eulogy.
And let's be honest, Morticia doesn't have a lot to do in the movie.
Yeah.
Other than she's there.
She's a presence.
She's a presence.
She's not as dialogue heavy as the others, but it's more about her being in a lot of scenes with people.
She's quietly dominant.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
the 2 leads are Gomez and Fester. So I'm just going to leave those 2 for last because the whole movie's about their brotherhood or supposed brotherhood.
That's fair.
So I'm going to bring in Morticia, who is excellently, by the way, because I'm not downplaying.
No.
The Angelica Houston is Morticia Addams.
I went into this movie kind of thinking Angelica, I don't even remember much about hers, but on this rewatch, I was like, oh, she's doing so much with so little.
She is incredible.
She owns every scene she's in. Every time.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's so much. They do the lighting on just the eyes. It's so great.
Yeah.
She is the quintessential Morticia Addams.
100%.
Arguably going to be one of the hardest ones, maybe next to Raul, but possibly the toughest one to recast here because of the performance.
Yeah.
Played by Angelica Houston. The Grifters, the Witches, Ever After. She's the daughter of John Huston. She dated Jack Nicholson forever. She's awesome.
Yes.
She's incredible. And so Morticia Addams is the mom. She's great. The lover of Gomez, mom to Wednesday and Pugsley. And she is very much, Nick just said it, she's just a presence.
Yeah.
That's the character. It's just when she's in the room, it's all eyes on
her.
And
it all comes off natural.
Yeah.
That's the heart. Because I think there's a lot of Morticia Addams that we've seen in later installments and stuff. It's like they just don't have it.
The beauty of Angelica Houston as Morticia Addams and just the character itself is everyone else is so over the top and she is so not.
Yes.
She's just pure, sex. She's just so sexy by just being there.
There's a lot of sex in this family movie.
There is. So
there's a lot
of subtext sex. So, but she's just super attractive, super but I mean, she just so much with so little. So good luck to you both. Nick, you made it.
I did.
With Juliette Lewis.
You did.
Corey, I might be going off on a leaf here, but I'm going with the big name, big 70s name.
Oh my gosh.
I just want you to think of the only tall, dark-haired woman, thin.
You didn't do it, did you?
From the 70s.
Oh, Jesus.
Corey, I'm bringing you Cher.
Of course you did.
Of course I did, Corey. Why wouldn't I? She's right there. 67, she was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Good Times, The Young Animals, and she's known for her Oscar win in Moonstruck.
I was about to say she's a great actress, actually.
Burlesque, Mermaids, Mask.
Very good actor.
Okay, that's what I gotta do. I gotta remove
separate.
I gotta remove modern day Cher, Life After Love, from my brain.
You need 80s Cher.
Nah,
I need you to think
80s
Cher. No. Don't listen to Ash. Not right now. Not right now.
Oh no, Mask is so good.
You know, it's hard to find. You can't get it on streaming services right now.
It is so hard. It's Eric Stoltz and Cher and Sam Elliott just firing on all cylinders.
It is. Yeah, keep thinking there.
All right, Cher. I hated it when you said it, but now I'm thinking and I'm being in the era of 81.
Yeah.
And no, it's actually it works. It's well. Okay. I just had to kill some biasness. Ash.
Yes.
Cher's on the board. What do you have?
Well, after that soul-crushing decision in the last round, I'll pick myself up here.
Rebound, Ash. Rebound. Come on.
Right. So it's funny you should mention Jack Nicholson because this actress is very linked to Jack Nicholson. This is the year after she did probably the two most famous films she's known for, starring alongside Jack Nicholson and Robin Williams in these two films. And I think this film will serve as therapy because of the awful time she had shooting with Stanley Kubrick in The Shining. I give you Shelley Duvall. She's tall, she's sassy, the dark hair. She shows the confidence in Popeye. She has that vulnerability in The Shining, but she really puts her face to, she can hold her own with Jack Nicholson, and she can definitely hold her own with Stanley Kubrick, and I can see that fire in her. And I feel like she needs this role as sort of to get over what happened on The Shining from that pretentiousness of Kubrick's dark side. So we need to and that will bounce her back into like A-list status. The one bad thing though, Corey, is I am taking her out of Time Bandits.
That's right.
Ooh.
And I mean, it's a film with Sean Connery playing King Agamemnon and John Cleese playing Robin Hood. So it's a crazy film, but it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk. So yeah, Shelley Duvall, I'll give you.
Yeah, Shining and Popeye the year before. She kind of just doesn't do much of huge note after 81.
Yeah, because
this is the film
Kubrick broke her.
She was traumatized.
I was going to say, like,
exactly.
I mean, what?
This is why she needs to do this.
Does that
film.
work?
Does it work? Yeah. Let's think about it. Let's ask the question.
Here's the thing: she would look brilliant.
Yeah,
Shelley Duvall would look brilliant as Morticia. The looks there. It's just like, what state of Shelley Duvall am I getting on set? Like,
is she just going to break down every time? Like, can we do another take? And she just like starts bawling.
Yeah,
it was only 2 takes.
Kubrick was going too hard on her. He was going way too hard on her. We need to ease her down a bit. We need to bring her back to the fun times, the Popeye times.
Yeah, he's kind of fighting dirty.
He is fighting dirty.
Like, okay, here's the thing. All right, I'll make this simple. Ash, I really respect the angle you're going where I need to give her but she was on the set of Time Bandits. She's around like a bunch of little people and Monty Python. If she's not having a good time after The Shining,
it's gonna help her heal.
Like she's around the funniest people on the planet. She's around Michael Palin. Like, yeah.
Ash, it's come back to bite you. You didn't think about the counter.
I'm gonna go share. I'm gonna go share. If you were giving me pre-Shining Shelley Duvall, I would probably consider it more. But I'm really nervous about having that liability on the set.
Man.
Especially a dark set.
Yeah.
Really dark, gloomy set.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's what we need. We need that. We need that.
Lots of death and booby traps and stuff.
Yeah. And Cher's just, she's like, this is post Sonny Bono.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's just living life right now.
She's on. I think she actually auditioned for the role for the movie.
Did she really?
I think
it wouldn't shock me if she did.
I mean, she literally, it's like when you...
She looks like Morticia Addams, so...
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Orion really wanted her to play Morticia in the 91 version, apparently.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So.
All right. And it's like just... I'm still getting kind of the 70s share.
Mm-hmm.
Post-Bono, post-reality variety show, but not the crazy big-haired if I could turn back time. I mean, I think I'm getting like a really great era of Cher.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other years, Nick, and I would have told you no. So,
but you said yes,
so,
and that's what we're going.
We just
with.
happen to hit peak Cher. Yeah. All right, so let's round out the Addams brothers, Uncle Fester and Gomez. We're going to start with Uncle Fester.
Being in my old room sure brings back memories. Remember Camp Custer
for preteen offenders.
Aren't memories precious? Today I like to wander through the house.
Who is brilliantly played by Christopher Lloyd. I had seen this movie 3 times before I realized it was Christopher Lloyd.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it as a kid.
Okay.
But then by the time I got to a teenager and I watched it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the guy from Back to the Future. That's the homeless guy from Dennis the Menace.
That's the bad guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
This guy?
Dude, Christopher Lloyd's a badass.
Yeah.
He's good.
I don't think we appreciate that enough.
He's got some range. I think people forget.
I feel like we lump him into Doc Brown and Walk Off.
Right.
I think so, yeah. 100%.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, yeah, he's phenomenal. Somehow, I don't know how, he has to weigh 90 pounds at his heaviest in his whole life. And he plays a fat guy,
right?
And the thing is he's wearing a fat suit, but they don't add anything to his face.
Okay.
Somehow he gives himself a fat face.
I don't
I don't get it.
Bald head. Must be the bald head that makes him. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, he's just very good at doing the double chin and keeping like his shoulders up. I don't know. It's brilliant. All right, but he does incredible. It's all there really is to say about Christopher Lloyd here. Also, one of the all-time great character actors. Just an absolute treasure. He will die soon, and we'll all be really
say
sad.
that, Cory.
I can't help
it. Way to lighten the mood.
I'm like, oh no, it's gonna come.
Listen, he was just a nobody playing the grandpa. He's doing fine.
I really hope so. I hope
he's in good nick at the moment. He looks really solid at the moment. It was with an interview with Michael J. Fox. He looks
great. Trying to say like, oh yeah, your grandpa's gonna die soon.
Listen, the other day, Steve Martin just had a birthday. He's like well into his 70s, and I'm like prepping myself. I'm prepping myself. I won't go to work I will call in when Steve Martin dies.
That's fair. That's
and
fair.
So I will take sick leave.
Oh
and so I'm not prepared. All right. Christopher Lloyd, Uncle Fester. Nick, you made it.
I did.
You brought in Cher. It was a little on the nose, but it just happens to be the right era.
Not always a bad thing. Not always a bad thing, Cory.
That was a bad thing. And we're taking some good risk here. I'm liking this cast. We got RDJ and Juliette Lewis and Henry Winkler and Lansbury. We got some great combos going.
Well, I got another one for you, Cory. You ready for this?
Here we go.
All right. Now, most people nowadays know him as an old man. He's long since passed away. But back in the day, you knew him in Young Frankenstein, in Taxi Driver, and more recently, Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, no.
I'm giving you Peter Boyle, Cory. Aged 46 years of age in 81. This year he's doing Outland, which I don't really know of. But Peter Boyle, I think he's shown the ability to play dark characters and obviously like the TV sitcom kooky grandpa characters. So I think he can find some good energy here to play our Uncle Fester. But and it also helps that he looks good bald. I think that's also an important feature to this character.
Does he need to look
I just want to read the plot of Outland.
Go ahead.
Which is a picture of Sean Connery in a police uniform holding a shotgun.
Best film of the year, wasn't it?
A federal marshal stationed at a mining colony on the Jupiter moon.
Cool.
Uncovers a drug smuggling conspiracy.
Sounds like your kind of film.
I don't know if we want. Listen, Nick. I'm not saying I won't.
Cory, he's not top billing.
I know he's not top billing, but I just don't know how much I want to touch this movie until I see it. Because all the pictures look incredible.
Well, we can watch it later after you've picked him for this movie.
Listen. I am one of those people that I will destroy things I don't know, but I'm a little hesitant right now. This looks like a really bad alien knockoff.
Look really good. Like, it looks really fun.
It looks awesome.
Okay. To my list.
Peter Boyle's half on the board.
Okay.
Half on the moon of Jupiter, Ash.
Okay.
Really depends on how you're going to play Uncle Fester here. And I do have a potential override if I have to.
Oh, God.
That I like.
Override. I forgot about that. Okay. Right. Well, I've gone for someone who has hair. And I think he's one of my favorite actors. He's been in pretty much everything you can think of. He's been in Avengers. He's been in Pretty in Pink. He's been in Alien. He is one of my favorite actors of all time, and he can definitely sell the role. He's done so much range. He's done comedy. He's done animation, scary. I just love the guy, and he's lovable, and Uncle Fester's a lovable guy, and I would love to see him in the makeup. So I'm giving you Harry Dean Stanton. And he is playing the same age as what Christopher Lloyd was at the time. I think he was 55. I think Chris Lloyd was 53. And in 1981, he was doing a film called One from the Heart, which I have never heard of. Oh, he is also in Escape from New York, which I've just seen. But he's not Kurt Russell in that. So it's all good. He's not Kurt Russell in that. But yeah, he's in 2 films in 1981. None that is really particularly, him. But yeah, Harry Dean Stanton. I wanted to give him a...
You're taking John Carpenter's staple guy out of his movies, Cory.
Hey, as long as I'm not taking Snake Plissken out, we're good.
I was about to say, Kurt Russell's the staple guy.
Yeah, but but Stanton's the secret weapon. He's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Nick, you stay out of this, all right? Your technicality with Juliette Lewis is one for the books, honestly. Spectator in the background.
It's an acting credit, okay?
Wow. Okay.
I got acting credits on if that's the case.
All right, I'm not going to use my override here. I'm not.
All I'm saying is Pretty in Pink, John Hughes, you love the 80s.
No, I love Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, he loves Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, and he's a great character actor.
He is.
All right, I'm not gonna. I want to say my override for Gomez. I'm afraid of what y'all have done with Gomez.
Okay, fair.
Okay,
because my override was going to be Don Knotts for Uncle Fester.
It's not bad, actually.
Really hoping one of y'all were going to bring me Don Knotts. He's just sitting right there. He's a free agent this year.
How old is he?
Who cares?
I'm just asking.
So
I like it.
I'm gonna go Harry Dean Stanton. Dang it! I think for me, maybe Peter Boyle is a little too on the nose in the wrong way, not the Cher way.
Oh, come on,
but maybe just too. I want to see what Harry Dean Stanton's gonna do with this, because Harry Dean Stanton's also kind of out of his mind a little bit.
He is out of his mind. The John Hughes effects pays off with Cory.
For those wondering at home, Don Knotts is in his 50s at this point, mid-50s.
Absolutely perfect.
Could have nailed it.
So
yeah, right.
I overthought the black and white Andy Griffith show throws you off.
Yeah,
for how long
I mean,
ago it was.
I don't know. It's kind of like the fact that Christopher Lloyd was in his 40s when he played Doc Brown still blows my mind.
That's true.
So I mean,
he's looked 70 for 70 years. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So all right,
that can't be right.
He's going to be in his late 40s.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my
that
God,
brings us to Gomez Addams.
Look at her. I would die for her. I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss? Unhappy, darling?
Oh, yes. Yes, completely.
This is the heart and soul of this. Raul Julia, who is a treasure we lost way too soon in life.
True.
He's at the end of his kind of run here. He's going to make this. He's going to make the sequel, and he's going to make Street Fighter.
Also a great movie.
Essentially just started making movies his kids could see because he knew he was going to die. Has been quoted as saying Gomez is his favorite character, and he loved it anytime kids recognized him on the street, would happily go in a character for them.
Nice.
And so, gone too soon.
Way too soon. Far too soon.
Yeah.
Great role. All right, but we're going to attempt to recast him here. All right. Gomez Addams, he kind of recreated the character as this very suave, over sexual, but great father.
They are half a second. If the camera keeps rolling, him and Morticia are having sex in those scenes.
Oh yeah, the chemistry is ridiculous.
It's shocking they only have two children.
The giveaway, the whatever we call the auction.
Yeah,
literally,
They are.
Yeah, they just go at it in front of people.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's how they get down. So
we don't kink shame here.
Everyone wears their kinks on their sleeves.
Yes, they do.
In the Addams family. So all right. So it's Gomez Addams. Everyone knows the character. It's iconic. It's great. Raul kind of created the modern iteration
for sure.
of that is just stuck. Again, Charles, you did great, but people just did your stuff a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So all right. So who made that? Ash you got to go first. You have to go first for Gomez.
Oh, no.
That is the reward.
I'm not sure about this. All right, okay. I'm going to take it. Gomez Addams. I just want to put it out there. I don't think anyone's going to do a better job than Raul Julia at all.
No,
I think he was
I don't
perfect
think so.
for Gomez.
Yes.
Love the guy. That being said, I've given it a go. I've taken a swing, and I've found a guy who is quite charming. I've dropped the age down a bit. He's about 10 years younger, but he's always looked kind of like middle-aged, so it's not really a thing. He was established in a very famous film with Robert De Niro and a Woody Allen film, Annie Hall. And he does a trademark in most of his movies where he does a little dance. And so I think he would be perfect in the waltz here. And in True Romance, he has this sort of dark attire as a Sicilian. He has that dark bravado about him. So I am giving you Christopher Walken. And I think he would be ridiculously good. He's very charming. He has that voice. He's got his own sort of voice, which is very more of a gimmick now.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm taking him out of is a film called, oh my God, I almost said Penis in Heaven. It's Pennies in Heaven.
Oh, Pennies in Heaven. Yeah.
Pennies in Heaven. That's the only film he's in. But this is after Deer Hunter and Annie Hall. So he's established in the 70s. So this would be taking a little different direction.
I didn't think about Christopher Walken, Corey.
I didn't either.
That's wild.
Okay, so at first, again, and I'm going to give Ash the benefit of the doubt here. I hated it when he said it.
But you think about it.
It's the time period.
Yes.
Is very different.
It's not late Walken. It's not
early
late
Walken.
No.
This is like serious actor that's getting nominated for Oscars Walken.
Yeah, this is just post Deer Hunter Walken.
Exactly. So I'm like,
a couple of years after.
Until I took it to context, and I'm like,
and he sports mustaches in that movie as well, and he does have the little Gomez mustache.
Okay, so he can pull off a mustache. All right,
it's important. It's important for this role.
I'm not sure I feel about pulling him out of his only movie he was in with Steve Martin, though.
Oh my God!
So Pennies from Heaven is not one of Steve Martin's
signature
films. All right. Okay. All right. I hated it at first, Ash, but now I'm like, I see it because of the
Good,
time
good,
period.
good. Yes.
So, no, I kind of like it actually. It's growing on me.
It is, and you could definitely. He's more of a blonde, dirty blonde, but you could darken his hair.
No,
darken
it's fine.
it,
It's
throw
fine.
the mustache. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, Nick.
All right.
A weird, low key but brilliant walk-in is on the board.
It's a brilliant walk-in. I'm not afraid to say it. It's a well played move.
Huh.
So I'm gonna. I'm playing with a lot of rules, Corey, today, I guess. But I'm gonna.
You both are.
I'm gonna.
We're casting dead people. We're just we're changing ages
we're
here.
Testing, we're testing
I reread the Ted
Corey.
Cassidy thing, all right, in my defense.
Okay, Corey. So this is going to come off as weird, but let me explain it as quickly as possible.
Oh, gosh, this is like another Charles Bronson is Maximus thing here.
No.
All right.
This person has technically already played Gomez Addams.
Oh, Nick!
Oh, no.
No!
But here's my argument.
Oh, gosh,
I'm going to bring you Tim Curry, and here's why. Here's why the argument was made. I had other options, but they didn't quite hit right for me. And the only reason I'm bringing up Tim Curry is because I think if you don't have Raul Julia, Tim Curry is a great substitute. The only problem with him in the third straight-to-DVD version that he was in was that it was a straight-to-DVD version that he was in after Raul Julia existed.
Yeah.
And the movie itself, watching some clips of it, it does not hold up. But Tim Curry holds up, but the rest of it does not. But the other thing, too, is that he's too old at that point for the role. So I think post-Rocky Horror, pre-Clue, and all his 80s hits that he gets, and then the 90s early stuff, I think this is a great time for Tim Curry to take on the role. So I'm riding that line, but I think there's a decent argument there for it.
I mean, you've explained yourself well.
Thank you.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like,
because Gomez is he is sex appeal. It's a gentlemanly kind of vibe about him. He's not quite like, he doesn't have like an English gentlemanliness to him, but there's a lot of that in there. I feel like it comes off a lot like a Clark Gable if he was just super like horny all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm sort of frustrated that you did the thing, but at the same time, like, yeah, this is technically a third installment of the franchise that we don't acknowledge.
Right.
It's not canon. No one. The only person that reprises a role is Lurch.
It's Lurch, yeah.
And that's mainly because you can't. It's like there's not a lot of 7-foot.
And that's the
actors.
only. I think those technicalities are the only reason I would even bring it up.
Yeah, and so I get it. I do get it.
I get it too. I do get it. Your reasoning is logic, is sound.
You kind of want to give Tim Curry a real shot,
right? I'm not bringing you Raul Julia 10 years earlier.
Yeah, you want to give Tim Curry an actual shot at the role.
Yes.
Because he didn't get one. Because Tim Curry's main flaw as an actor was that he didn't say no to a whole lot.
That's true. His IMDb is long.
There's a lot of crap you got to wade through to get to the good. So, all right. I'm also considering my overrides here, but at the same time, I don't know if I love them as much as I like your guys. One's just okay. I'm not going to use them. I'm not going to use my overrides.
Wow.
Okay.
I was thinking Jack Nicholson, but he's too creepy.
Just came off The Shining too.
He's just too creepy.
Yeah.
He's charming, but his charming is
in
like
a creepy way.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy charming.
Yeah. There's no sex appeal to it in a charming aesthetic way. I think.
It's almost non-consensual.
Yeah, exactly.
Sexual energy is almost non-consensual, even when it is.
It's not passionate.
So, and then Al Pacino was my other guy.
Also fair to consider.
Pacino,
very sensible woman, Al Pacino.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm bringing like the right era of Pacino.
After The Godfather, though.
I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to let Tim Curry have the shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not.
If nothing
mad
else,
about
just an undo of blemish on his very blemishy record.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like let's just remove that. Let's let him have the shot. It's going to be good because this is like Rocky Horror era.
Yes, it's a few years after that. It's a few years before Legend and that run with Clue and everything.
Yeah,
and then his little quick 90s run. Home Alone 2. Yeah,
I think Curry deserves the shot.
Guys, what do you think? What do you guys think? Listening, huh? Let us know on the blog.
Get the blog
on
the social medias.
I will say that Christopher Walken was brilliant.
It was,
but it's more.
I really thought you were going Christopher Walken.
I was really going to. You sold me on. Let's give Tim Curry this shot.
Same. I think you played on my heartstrings a little bit with that one as well.
I think you played dirty a little bit.
Yeah.
It was logical.
I like it. I don't mind it.
So,
I mean, I'd rather lose to that one than like random spectator in an uncredited role in 19. I'm not letting that go, by the way, Nick. Ever.
What it actually is, though, is I knew as soon as you said Walken, I knew I wasn't going to do my override.
Okay.
Walken was better than Nicholson and Pacino.
That's true. Yeah, it was a very solid pick. Like,
all right.
I really thought I was losing that one.
All right.
Okay, go ahead. I liked him. No, I liked Tim Curry. I'm not mad about that one.
This is going to be one of my favorite casts from this podcast.
Dang.
This is
nailed
good.
it, Ash. We nailed it.
I think y'all did. I think this is a very 81 cast. And what's weird is I actually like, and this doesn't happen a lot, I feel like this is a realistic cast.
It's looking good.
This is like an affordable cast.
We could go under budget.
Essentially, we're throwing 100%. All of our money at Cher.
Yeah, Cher's raking it in there. I think that.
And everyone else is working for like their normal rate.
Yeah.
I feel like. This is rare for us. I think we actually did this within budget. Because when you have a time machine, we don't consider budgets here. We have all the money in the world.
Future money, Cory.
And so, all right.
It's
So I'm going to bring
worthless.
this is what a 1981 The Addams Family would look like per Quantum Recast.
Okay.
Coming in at Lurch, Frankenstein Butler is Richard Keel, Jaws himself. Granny will be played by Virginia Mayo of White Heat. Tully Alford will be played by the Fonz, Henry Winkler. Abigail Craven, I cannot pronounce that. Abigail Craven will be played by Angela Lansbury. Pugsley Addams will be played by a 16-year-old Robert Downey Jr. We teenaged Pugsley. Wednesday Addams is going to be played by an 8-year-old Juliette Lewis. Love the dynamic we just created. Uncle Fester will be played by Harry Dean Stanton. Morticia Addams will be Cher. And Gomez Addams getting a shot at redemption, Tim Curry.
I like it.
This is actually phenomenal. I'm into this. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of you guys.
It would sell tickets.
I was going to quit the podcast at the end until this happened. So I had an announcement ready and everything. I was ready to walk.
Did it, Nick?
And then y'all convinced me to stay another episode.
4 more years.
And you didn't use any of your power-ups.
That's true. You didn't swap?
That's rare.
There's no swaps really here. Other than I'm really sad because Robert Downey Jr. in 1980 looks a lot like Raul Julia. I wish that Raul Julia
that could
they
be
look
fun.
exactly alike. They would be
fun.
So all right. That is Addams Family 1981.
That's it.
So we thank you for listening. It's great. It's grand. It's wonderful. This is essentially pretty much the end of Halloween.
Almost.
Right? Pretty much.
We got a little surprise episode coming up.
Probably in the back pocket.
Little something.
We're heading into November.
That's
which
right.
is probably our worst month on this podcast. We're in between two easy months full of Halloween and Christmas movies, and then you're just like we're convincing ourselves not to do
Thanksgiving maybe
because it's the only Thanksgiving movie anyone can think of ever.
That's true.
So
yeah.
All right. Well. So subscribe. We're on all the social medias. Please check us out. We're on the Instagram, the TikToks, everything. And we have a website. We have a blog. We have all sorts of stuff that you can interact with and engage with.
Yes, you can. At Quantum Recast.
All right.
Do it.
Until next time, say goodnight, Nick.
Good night, Nick.